This girl is mean. She is the worst. Just an absolute degenerate who derives pleasure from hurting poor, innocent little people. But dang if I don't find myself fantasizing about her making me cry. Now, I know what you're thinking. What is wrong with you? And you're totally right to think that there is a lot wrong with me, and this is far from the worst. But I was in your exact same position, and I thought that this girl and this show was only for some degenerate weirdos who just fantasize about them back in high school getting bullied by a pretty anime girl, which anime's not real, so they'll just have to get over it. I came to that conclusion a long time ago. However, after many recommendations from my YouTube algorithms, I decided, what the hell, I'll give this show a shot. And now, I'm that exact same degenerate. And I was a degenerate before, so it's just like, more so a degenerate. To catch everyone up to speed, this is the anime Don't Mess With Me, Miss Nagatoro. It's a rom-com which follows a second year, you could just call him Senpai, and a first year named Nagatoro, and she loves picking on him. Basically, she's a part of, kind of the cool kid group, and the Senpai character just kind of despises people like this. He doesn't really find himself hanging out with those types of people. But she comes over to him and basically finds out that she just loves messing with this guy, and you find out later that it's because of his reactions. He just, rather than her saying something to him and then he's just like, whatever, asshole, he's just always like, like very anime reactions, but even more so anime, even though it's already an anime, and they talk about this in the show. So rather than filing a restraining order on her, he actually kind of ends up falling in love with her because it's a rom-com. And of course, she sort of follows suit, and all the wacky interactions happen through that. On top of this, Nagatoro's friend group gets involved in messing around with Senpai because they just find it so utterly hilarious, which also involves this best girl right here. And Senpai's club activities also get involved into the story as well. And that's about all you need to know for this video. Now, what I want to talk about is my initial reaction to seeing this show getting popular, and how my opinion completely changed after I finally decided to watch the show. When I first caught glimpse of people talking about this show, I thought it was just kind of disgusting. Like it was just a girl bullying a dude, and for some reason it was played off for laughs, and that just made it okay because they kind of liked each other. And I don't know, my first reactions to it was it just seemed really toxic, and I didn't understand why everybody was just addicted to it, or at least the people that enjoyed it, what they saw in the show. But after finally breaking down and watching the show myself, I came to find out that there was just more to it than I thought. Nagatoro still has horrible moments, especially in the first episode where she does things that are just way too far, crossing the line. One specific instance is pushing him into a river, though it's shown in that episode that it was a mistake and she does actually feel bad about it. And there are different instances where you can see her react to what she's doing. And that was the part of the show that I wasn't seeing from the outside looking in until I actually watched the show, and that changed everything. It makes her human. It's a flaw that she has, and it's something that she's actually working on in the show. There's actually parts in the show where she tries to do something in a totally normal way, but because it's a rom-com, of course, either through the senpai character saying something really stupid or through just circumstance, she reverts back to picking on him. And then from there, you come to find out that sometimes her picking on people or being negative is a defense mechanism. And once I saw that, it just blew my mind, because I was like, okay, I mean, it's a rom-com, but this is like genuine, like character building and like character development, And then you come to think about it, and it's like bullying derives from something. It always does. It's not just somebody bullying because they want to be mean. It comes from somebody having something in their lives that causes it. That doesn't make it okay, of course, and the show's not trying to make it okay. But it goes to show you the people who are picking on other people and them as human beings. And that's what completely changed the show for me. Now, one other huge factor that changed how I felt about the show is that this senpai character isn't completely innocent. Now, that doesn't mean that he's completely deserving of the harsh critiques and, bullying that he gets from Nagatoro, but even within the first episode, he sits down in the library and sees Nagatoro with her group of friends, and his thinking is kinda negative. He's like, oh, I'll never hang out with those kind of people, or I just don't see myself being around those kind of people. And that's a very human line of thinking, but it's still negative, Judging an entire group of people just because of what you see on the exterior, which is literally what I did with this show. A lot of his lines of thinking are just kind of embarrassing. One great specific example I can think of, small spoiler warning if you don't want to know anything about the show until you watch it, they go to the beach, which it's an anime, so obviously. But when they're at the beach, Senpai has to put on sunscreen. Nagatoro offers to do it for him because, putting on sunscreen isn't something you can do by yourself easily. And it's also one of those moments that shows that she genuinely cares to some degree. Now, she's gonna put the sunscreen on him. She's making some funny little remarks here and there, but she's not actually doing or saying anything horrible. She's just being a good friend at that moment. Then, just out of nowhere, Senpai has to say, oh, isn't that something only couples do? And it's just like, you're taken aback at that moment, and you're like, why would you say something so stupid? It's only something that he would say. And then from there, of course, that triggers Nagatoro, and then she starts putting on the sunscreen by stepping on his back, which, somebody out there is going to really enjoy that thought in their head, and also it's probably on the screen right now as I'm editing. But, as you could see, it's not entirely his fault, but he brought upon that situation himself, and she reacted. It was a defense mechanism, like I was saying. So, for me, that changes my line of thinking with the show, because it's not just her blasting out of the gate, just destroying him and picking on him and this and that. It's a situation that involves both of the people interacting with each other and, cause and effect. And while it's not right for her to suddenly just lash out on him like that, they're high schoolers and they're human, and that's what makes it enjoyable. It's not just a girl bullying a boy and that's all it is and it's played off for laughs. It's a girl who very clearly has her way of being and her way of existing, but she likes this person and she's not afraid to be herself. And he is also, to a certain degree, not afraid to be himself because that's just who he is. And sometimes he has really dumb opinions about people putting on sunscreen, but he can't help it. And she's trying to help sort of break him out of that shell. And at the same time, he's sort of helping her deal with other situations and not always lash out in the way that she does. And it's beautiful. And it's cute. But you're still kind of a degenerate and a basement dweller if you watch this show. But, I happen to like basements. They're very musty, But that's really all that I had to say. And honestly, I'm a very surface level anime watcher. My favorite anime is My Hero Academia, so I'm kind of a basic bitch when it comes to anime, but I just thought it would be interesting to share my opinion about this show, just in case there were other people that sort of shared my opinion of thinking that the show was a little deplorable from the exterior, and give them a reason to give the show a shot. I promise you, there's more to it than you originally thought. Does that mean that you'll love the show when you watch it? Of course not. It's all up to interpretation. But for me personally, I originally thought that the show was kind of gross. And then I fell in love. Just like Senpai and Nagatoro fell in love with each other. Also, while I have you here, I just want to recommend if you love rom-coms, Sure Children, and Gamers. Go watch those shows. They are amazing. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoy this type of content. I just wanted to throw in that recently I made a Patreon to sort of help fund me making videos like this because I've been trying to change up and divvy up the content on my channel, but unfortunately YouTube algorithms really do not like that because my channel's already sort of been set in stone as a comic dub channel, which, I mean, hey, that's totally my fault. But if you guys like this stuff and you'd like to support me in any way, Patreon's definitely there, but just you guys watching my videos, honestly, that means the world to me, and I love you all. But anyways, go enjoy your romance animes, you basement dwellers. See you later.